Okay, 10 o'clock.
Commissioner Gator.
Here.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Here.
Commissioner Buckley.
Here.
As
We
you
have a quorum
wish,
present.
as you wish, please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, be with us as we do what's best for the county this morning, and please keep us safe as we go out throughout our day, and just take care of those that need you, dear Lord. I ask this in your Son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Consent agenda, only a couple items, last week's meeting, minutes, and application for the ARPA award. Motion,
I'll make a motion, we approve. Is it here from me?
I'll second.
all in favor, aye? Thank you. And no table agenda items, opening of bids for the windows of courthouse, did we get any?
No. Open.
No bids to open, okay, moving right along.
Windows closed.
Approval to enter contract, and Dan Ward. Meeting's up here, Dan. Dan,
Somebody's up.
who's gonna talk about this?
Where's Eric? I guess I'll do it.
He works for you.
Trying to get him to step up here. Dan, Warren County Assessor, this is for approval to enter a contract with Sam, formerly Midland, for GIS maintenance. Our mapper is retiring effective July 1 or 31st, and we have a lot of our paperwork that comes through has some pretty intense legal descriptions, and one of our administrative assistants is learning the process on reading them better, but he also agrees that some are really hard to understand, and we're going to be getting into a contract to send that information to a company that can do the work that Danny was doing, and so we can stay ahead of the game. So we find somebody eventually down the road, hopefully that will be a mapper.
So if our floodplain man or anybody needs a print, who do we go to?
Oh, that's not gonna be an issue. We'll have that, Leroy Muller will
Leroy will handle that.
be doing that. Plus, there are some other county here and some others in the office can print off the maps as necessary.
Okay.
How long is the
How long is this contract?
Pardon me?
How long is this contract for?
Well, it'd be an annual because we have to renew it every year, but we're looking from July 1st to the end of the year for them to do the process. We have it in the budget because with Danny retiring, the money that for salary will more than, his salary will more than cover that on a year-to-year basis until he's replaced if he did. We had two companies that were interested in the contract. Midland, Sam is out of Maryville here in locally. The other one's out of Minnesota. Sam was very thorough on what they were doing and presented to us. The other company, Pro West, was very vague in some of the costs, and we were fearful that we may be spending more money than anticipated with those unknowns, so we decided that it's okay, we will go with Sam.
When you talk about Dan's retirement, you talk about Danny Edgar.
Danny Edwards.
Key
yes,
man,
I'm sorry.
he's a good man
Yeah,
for that.
he's a mapper, he was worked with surveying business for years and done a very good job in our county, but he is leaving at July 1st.
Is it fixed rate, or do you have a contract rate on them? Or
I'm sorry?
do you have a contract rate, or is it a fixed rate?
Yes,
or-
it's estimated about $23,000 a year for them to do the amount of work that we present. They've already working in Audrain, Warren, and Lafayette counties, and they are helping with the city of Farmington.
But it's piecemeal, not a fixed monthly cost.
Right, because
That's how
of the
much you
fact,
use
it
them.
depends on how much work we send to them is going to establish.
And you
We
have the
gave them
rates
the highest
and-
amount that we would send out to get that.
So as Leroy gets better and better, then that'll
It'll be
decrease.
lower and lower.
Okay.
So it's on a rate. Okay.
That's the goal anyway.
Is that your motion, we recommend this?
If all possible, yes, so we
Okay.
get Sam as the company that we take for that work.
Okay. Motion,
Sorry guys, I was writing my notes here. I make a motion we approve to enter in a contract with GIS parcel maintenance and service for the assessors.
I'll second that.
any questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. Next is a ratification of the plat for the quarry property. We told the city months ago that we would give them our half of that double lot's what it is. and there's a restriction on it because it has been a landfill in the past. Nothing can be developed there. So it's, they've just sold it to the neighbor for $700 in agreement to that. And the neighbor will take over, of course, all maintenance on the property that the city has been doing. So they just want, official ratification of the plat for the transfer. So a motion?
I'll make a motion that we make ratification of plat of Ford Street to the city farm.
Second.
Okay, any questions? We weren't offered $350 half on that. Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Approval for request for proposals, for the work on the jail. Looking at doing some more COVID prevention work on the jail, in addition to contracting. So we need to get out to the various people that can design it. Motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the RFP for the work on the jail.
Second?
Second.
Questions?
Now, this is the original plan. Basically, we're trying to figure out how, and we downsized it, how we go back up to what they said they
When do you
needed.
downsize?
Well, the initial plan, when they came in and drew it up, was larger. We decided to go
Oh.
forward. We cut that, and I assume that that's, I'm looking at Mr. Crump, is that's what we're trying to go back to what we originally needed? And
Yes, to go ahead and expand it on out, kind of looking at a little repurposing also. A dual road, the other half would be, hopefully in the future, a mental health unit. We deal, officers in the area deal with a lot of people who have mental health issues or substance abuse issues. So this would entail 2 medical exam rooms, 3 offices for the nurse, 1 for the therapist that we have there, and hopefully, you know, some more therapists at the future, but it'll also have 2 dorm areas for those with manageable mental health issues, to keep them out of the general population, and hopefully to, you know, help these people when they come in. Your jails are your front line defense for these people. And law enforcement in the county would probably tell you that they're picking them up, there's nowhere to take them. So
you don't segregate them now, or you segregate them?
we segregate them the best we segregate them now, but it's not the ideal environment.
Yeah. So how many beds would this have in the 2 units?
The 2 dorms would have 4 bunks each.
4 bunks each.
And then also there'll be 3 padded cells in there for those that are, you know, severely or gonna make threats to other themselves.
Motion?
You made them.
You made
We've
the
already
motion.
had a motion and a second.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
We just need
Are
to call the
there any
question.
comments or questions?
I'm
Yes?
sorry, I know I was late. So is this, we're doing an RFP for a contractor, or
For
is
the
this?
contractor and the firm, yeah.
Okay, did this go through an engineering company to draw up the plans, or where did the plans come from?
We're looking at a design build, I think is where we were at with this for, to get this done.
We're interested in any design build firm.
Oh, okay,
Not our business.
okay.
Okay,
So
any
this'll
other
be,
questions?
this'll go through the same design build process though, right?
Yes.
So doesn't an engineer have to be contracted with the county before we can move forward with seeking solicitations?
Design build.
I can go pull the statutes if you like, because we already went over this before with the commission, that in order to be in compliance with the statute for design build, the county must retain an engineering firm first to develop an RFP.
No, we've done that.
I don't think we,
We
approved an
You're talking about
engineer.
SSC, right?
yes.
Okay, and we've done that, we've done,
Has that been
Qualification
approved in
for
the
that.
commission meeting?
I'm sorry.
Has the commission approved that in public session, that we've accepted them as an
The
engineer?
Oh, no, that's scheduled, we hope to do that
Master
next week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're looking at that contract now, and I hope to get that on next week's.
So that would have to be approved and in place before that we could move forward with this, to be in compliance with statute.
Okay, any schedule issues, I think we're okay on that. So we can table this till after next week to get SSC. Yeah, we're negotiating the contract now, tweaking the contract with SSC. And we will present that next week if we get it.
Supposed to hear
in
back
time.
from Travis.
And that's for a wide variety of engineering, right?
Yes, that's right. Okay, let's
Table.
look at the order sequence on that.
I'll put it on next week's schedule
Okay.
agenda.
We hope to get that done for SSC at that time. Okay, that item's tabled. Okay, job title change with pay increase, prosecuting attorney, Ryan, Melissa, you want?
Ron Miller with the prosecuting attorney's office. We're asking for a job title change for one of our employees, Jessica Barton. She's a 5-year employee of the county, and she's also taken on a significant amount of extra duties since the beginning of the year, but especially now with a former employee having left. As you can see on the slide there, she's taken on all of our Division III dockets with Judge Goff. She spends most of her Tuesdays handling 60, 70 case dockets in there. She does all of the preliminary subpoenas for all of our witnesses, including police and lay witnesses. She does a lot of our training for new employees. So she's taken on a significant amount of additional duties, and that's why we're requesting this job title change. The cost is going to be covered by, it's already in our budget, because with the departure of one employee, the extra money that she was making will cover what we're wanting to give Jessica.
So I wanted to comment though too, that, there's been a change this year with the law, so the Missouri Supreme Court changed it effective March 1st, that anybody who is confined has to have a preliminary hearing within 30 days. If they're not confined, 60 days. Now before, they just said one needed to be held as quickly as possible. So when that law went into effect, then that changed our Tuesday preliminary hearing dockets so that we were having 75 or more cases scheduled for those. So as of today, which is June 1st, we're just now through with 2019 cases. We're now moving on to 2020. So initially we had probably 65 scheduled today. So all of those prelims all have subpoenas. They have to be witnesses that have to be contacted. So she's taken on all that additional, because even anyone who did it before, it's twice as bad as it was before, because we used to have maybe 20 prelims. And that'd be all day. Now we have 60 to 70. So just a little note there, because I don't know, I haven't talked to Brian as much about that, but it's a lot of work. A lot of work. And she does a great job.
Okay. Motion?
I make a motion that we do the job title change pay increase for Jessica Barton, going from legal secretary to administrative assistant 1 at $3.75 an hour.
Second?
I'll second.
Question? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. Hang on, Ryan. Approved contract for special prosecuting attorney.
So we also have Belinda Becker is her name. She does part-time contracting work where she assists counties with their traffic dockets. So she will be assisting us, granted you approve it, she'd be assisting us with handling a lot of the citations that come in from the highway patrol, and also some of our, I believe, the criminal work with driving while suspended, driving while revoked, things that are a little bit more in-depth than just a citation. The cost is already included in our budget, the payroll funds that are available, so we're just requesting your approval of this contract. It does run for 3 months or until the parties mutually decide to terminate it, but we'll be coming back to you as long as we need her.
Okay. And it's your recommendation that we approve this?
Yes, it is.
I make a motion we approve the contract for special prosecuting attorney, and that's Belinda Becker.
Yes.
For what you need for 3 months, and you'll come back with what you need.
I'll second that one.
You don't have a cost per hour or anything on there, what?
It's, in the contract, it's $2,500 per month, and it's 20 hours a week.
Okay. Questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you, Brian. I almost said Brian, I didn't mean to do that. Approved contract work for child support division.
Okay. This one, we don't have anything drawn up yet. We're just seeking your approval to get a contract that this gentleman presented to you. But Dwight Scroggins is a career prosecutor. He was elected, I think, like 6 times.
8.
Or 8 times.
Most
Okay.
of you.
So he knows a thing or two. But we've just asked for his help in finding some best practices and just assessing the status of our child support division currently. So we're just asking for your approval to enter into a contract with him, and we'll present that whenever it's ready.
So we can't approve the contract, we're just giving you the go ahead to pursue.
To my knowledge, we don't have one
Not yet.
drawn up yet.
And-
We're just letting you know it's coming.
I guess that was in Missouri County, he was, yeah.
Yes, I'm forgetting right now, it's north, Buchanan,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, you can't have it.
All right, your recommendation, we go with this, or that we allow you to proceed. So we don't need a motion on this, do we? Or do?
Yes,
Kevin?
you do if you're gonna pursue it. It's just like I'm assuming you're gonna treat it just like a contract to seek, the contract, so it's up to you all. This is your policy, not the law.
It's a request for a contract.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's, give them a motion to pursue the contract.
Okay, I make a motion give you the approval to approve a contract for somebody out there for the prosecuting attorney's office. Look, see.
I think White
However you wanna write that.
White Scroggins.
Okay, or the White Scroggins.
He's,
I was gonna butcher that name.
Second?
I'll second that.
Okay, now any questions? Yes, sir.
Has anyone consulted the state on this as far as if someone is available through their office to provide assistance?
They're not providing us any assistance right now, because they said they're too busy. So.
Did they say it would be okay to seek someone to do this? I mean, I know the child support program is funded through
The state.
federal funding. I didn't know if there was any kind of stipulation as far as if they would allow someone to come in and look at these documents, especially with them being child support documents.
Yeah, so they're access through the MAC system, so as long as, and he has access to those, documents and reports, and he's checked, so he's working with the Buchanan County elected prosecutor who took over after him, and he's gonna allow him to use his child support unit to do that, and the state has been made aware of it and has raised no objections with us.
Perfect.
Just to clarify, that it's the commission's policy, not law, to authorize seeking these contracts, so that's why you're about to vote on. Question that we may have is this money's through, as you say, through the federal grant, through the minister, through the state or whatever. Will his consultation be covered under that, or will that be covered under your,
No, it'll be covered under the child support budget.
okay, so not through the county's?
Nope.
And the state said that can come out of that budget?
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor, aye? Aye, thank you. I think we can let you go. Unless you wanna talk about the next regular meeting. I thought she was gonna talk about it.
Okay, one more.
Bye, Melissa.
She's gotta go back to court.
Yeah, she gotta go, which seat she on?
I'm
Okay.
not-
Next week, right here, same time, same place for the next meeting. And other business, correspondence. Public comment,
I have one.
okay?
I'll give this to you.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm here to talk about Rice Road and, I guess maybe controversy that's going on about this, but I know David Cater came to the commission and made comments about him talking to specifically the people that live on Rice Road. So I conducted a survey, which you had. And all of these were regarding statements and what had actually gone on or supposedly should have gone on. I have the results here that I'll give to Mr. Gallagher here in a second, but I want to talk a little bit about this. What I did is David said he had talked to 5 people, and it's on YouTube. I love YouTube because you can go back and see exactly what the people have said and done. And there were 8 homes, so that sounds like 5/8, and which is more than half, which is a majority.
but it's very misleading. That actually there are 7 homes involved here, because one is, I don't know if it's going foreclosure or what, but that grass isn't being mowed. But everybody else there, I talked to, so that means that the 7 homes that are left, I talked to. And I give them this survey, I asked them if they would like to participate, and every one of them wanted to. And what I did is, I started off and, this regarded the initial, I guess, collecting of information on May 3rd, because you all had a meeting on May 4th. And the first question was, on Monday, May 3rd, Commissioner David Cater visited my home, and they put their number on there, or said what their house number was. And I've got those 7 distinctions of where they live at on there. And next, SFC Commissioner David Cater did or did not talk to me at my home, and he did not talk to everybody. He did talk to 5 people. And I know who he talked to. He talked to, that day, Narn Stegall, who's here. He talked to him. And he talked to Paul and Marlene Hedgegarth. They're probably the oldest citizens in our neighborhood, both on Adams Road and Rice Road. And he talked to Beverly Carroll. And the last person he talked to was Mike Johnson at the very end of the road. And the rest of the people, he left, I guess you'd say, a map with his card attached to it, and there was nothing besides that. So that's what the people had on the door. And I go on and I said, SFC Commissioner David Cater did or did not simply leave me an aerial photo of Rice Road with his business card attached to it. And if they got talked to on 2, we didn't have to put anything about an aerial photo, because they knew what, I guess, the conversation was. So I skipped to 4 and said, SFC Commissioner David Cater did or did not provide me with a thorough explanation of extending Rice Road's easement to the city of Deloge for the benefit of Lost Creek subdivision development. And I talked to 12 people there, and all 12 of them said did not. He didn't say anything to them about it. And the next, SFC Commissioner David Cater did or did not provide me with information of how extending Rice Road's easement would impact me and our neighborhood. Examples, it's going to open up Rice Road to permanent traffic by excavation, construction, building supply, and personal vehicles 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that's what's going to happen. And he did not say a word about that to any of them. And next, SFC Commissioner David Cater did or did not inform me that there would be a meeting of the St. Francis County Commission the next day, May 4th, to discuss and take a possible vote on Rice Road. He said nothing about this. He gave no information that you all would be meeting on May 4th to discuss this and probably vote on it, which you did. It's on YouTube. And next, SFC Commissioner David Cater did or did not misrepresent information to me regarding Rice Road. Every one of the 12 I talked to said he misrepresented. He didn't let them know the information. They had no idea what was going on. And finally, I am or am not in favor of extending Rice Road's easement to Deloge for the benefit of the Lost Creek subdivision development. And every one of them said, no, I am not in favor. There was not, I talked to 5 and they were for it. And I talked to the 2 houses at the end were for it. I saw that. I've looked at these videos so many times I've got them memorized. And no, proof of it is this is Tom Bullock's map, and he lives at the end of Rice Road. And he said the 2 houses at the end were for it. He wasn't even there on the 3rd. And no, he's not foreign. Mr. Bullock is probably, he has the most skin in the game. He's lived there since 2009. Road and Bridge has not cut one blade of grass on that easement since 2009. All they do is they run a blade every now and then in the winter, but there's some snow on there. But Mr. Bullock has taken care of that, and it looks like a little park that was in there. You can't tell the difference between Mr. Johnson's, where his yard stops, and where Bullock's takes over. There's a tree there. It's pristine. That's shown here on this YouTube map. If you look at it, it's pristine. He's done this since 2009, for 12 years. And it's been there longer than that, I know, because that was, you can tell by the condition of the road. But, you know, this is not right. And the commission was misled. And I'm submitting right here, I'm not gonna do and say, well, you know, I talked to these guys and they're for this or they're against this, and walk off. Steve Pasternak doesn't do that. Steve Pasternak gets their signatures. And here it is, you've got a copy of all 12 people. And you know, this goes beyond this, you know, Mr. Bullock, I've got it advertised, KFMO.com, last week. Anybody was in attendance here? Mr. Gallagher said that there were, let's before we do anything, let's make sure we get the surveys and make sure where the pins are and who owns what, and give the opportunity for people to talk about this, both from Deloge and from Bryce Road, and let's get together and talk about it. And the next day, they were cutting a road in there.
Okay, that road was planned 2 weeks before the meeting.
Then why was that meeting set up if you knew this 2 weeks before?
We didn't know that. That was, okay, back in October 13th, we gave the city of Deloge that land by action in the commission room.
I know what, I've looked at it.
Okay, so at that point, the county was removed from it. And then, somewhere in the line, was it Ameren? That, set up the job, well, now 3 weeks ago,
They had a work order for
to do a work order for that, and it just happened that the work was done the day after our meeting. So the county is basically out of it. It has been since October.
But this just didn't all of a sudden, I mean, just happen on a whim. I mean,
No, it's
last
going
week's
on.
meeting, it should have been told. Why? And what about this?
Well, I had to review this.
What about this meeting?
Dan, when did they survey those marks out there?
January.
January. Okay, Dan is with Dan Bryan is with, he's assistant administrator at Deloge.
Yeah.
This has been going on
also
for
have a lot of comments.
a long
Oh,
time.
I know.
Okay, it's not just, and when you said I misinterpreted, I understand that. I'm perfectly fine with my name being all over it. But I also had 3 guys with me. One, Jason Harris from the city of Deloge. I also had Clay and John. I did not misinterpret. When I came to your house, I even told you that we were going to put a road through, or we were giving them permission to put a road through for extension for a subdivision.
We're not talking about me. I live on Adams.
No, I
Road.
understand,
I'm talking
but
about
you're
the
I-
people.
he- he's
what I'm
looking at
asking
me.
about. Yes. So,
And
Can I respond?
I would say one more
Just-
thing.
sorry.
Can I say one thing and I'll let you have it? Because Miss Carroll, she told me what went on. She said, he came to my door and said, we'll be working on this road down here. And she said, that's what you said.
We talked a little bit longer than that. Guys, I'm telling you, I had witnesses with me. So I know what I
The
said.
difference is, I've got witnesses with their names signed to it.
I got you, but I'm sorry. I said more than that. We spent 2 hours over there, and you said 7 occupied houses is what exactly what I said. I said 8 houses, but the other one is not
I'm not
occupied.
here to argue, I'm here
I
for
know, but I'm
facts.
telling you what I said.
I'm here
and
for
that's
facts. I do this. If somebody says something and I know it's important,
Yes.
I'll get their name signed to
I
it.
get
It's
you.
not that I said, because there could be a misinterpretation. I mean, this is, those people, and Norm Stigall is one of them
Yes.
that is involved, and, you know,
The letter that I dropped off said road extension, correct? if you read that letter that I got, it says road extension up at the top, correct?
There is no road, there is no letter.
Can I see
The letter
that?
is
No,
word.
that's what I'm talking about.
It says simply road.
Road extension.
Well, let me tell you, I'm gonna
Yes.
go on because I had some other comments. Mr. Chance Chadwell said, I came home and saw this, I saw this on my door, and I thought,
Did he call the
what
car?
the heck? What the? Your meeting was the next day. What happens
If he came home that day, he didn't call me.
But what if he didn't come home that day?
But you just said he came home that day.
But what if he didn't come home that day?
Steve.
Somebody
I'm not
that's,
gonna argue with you.
Okay, keep it.
I'm not arguing. The thing about it is that Chance Chadwell told me, he said, I didn't know what this meant.
I understand. Okay.
Because there's nothing but a picture and a little
And my car with my number.
blue section that says road extension.
Okay.
Steve,
Norm,
didn't
would
you
you
try
like
to
to
call him that day?
Yeah, and I tried, and if you would look on the, let me kind of say one more thing. I tried to call David Cater on the day that this, because somebody came, Mr. Stigall was the one who came to my house. I was outside. And he came to my house and asking me about this. Because I've lived in that area since '79. And I tried immediately to call David Cater. And I left a voicemail about, and he didn't show up till on my front porch for several days later, way after the fourth meeting here. He didn't call me back.
I didn't call you back at all?
You didn't call me back until you showed up, and then you called me back some other times. I'm sorry, Steve, I was down doing this and that, but it was on, you came to my house after the meeting. St.
But I
Francis
also
County
called
meeting.
you and you said you wanted to talk face to face, correct?
But I'm saying,
Okay, but I talked to
but
you.
it was after the meeting.
Okay. I got you. I
But,
appreciate
you
it.
know,
Was that
I'm
at the
just,
ball game?
I appreciate it. And we also talked at a ball game too, to be honest.
well, yeah, I don't have anything
Yeah.
personally against him. I taught him in school. I don't have anything personally against him. You know what, and about as far as the subdivision goes, Deloge, Keith Perry, and they put in the subdivision behind, right, that joins us. And I never said one word that I was against that. I'm not against that. I'm not against, Deloge can put in 200, they can put in 300 houses over behind us that affect Rice Road. That doesn't affect me, but whenever you let traffic go up and down our roads, which are not designated for that, and you're using us for that, building of those homes, let them run it to Hawthorne. I'm not against, and you can ask Randy Barney or Keith Perry if I ever said one word about them, and they built houses right up to our line. And they've got a lot of nice houses between us and Walmart. I'm not against that. I'm not against that. I wasn't really born in Deloge because my mom had me in Bonne Terre Hospital. I lived in Deloge all my life before I met Joy, and we moved after we were married. We lived in Deloge, and I built this because it was outside of the city limits, and we've lived there since '79. So I don't have anything against Deloge. I taught in North County, which is Deloge and Bonne Terre. I don't have anything against Deloge. I would have gone somewhere else if I didn't like it. So it's not anything personally, but I don't like what's being done to the people of Rice Road, and especially Tom Bullock. If you would have had your meeting, Mr. Gallagher, Tom Bullock would have said, I have the easement on my deed. I've taken care of that property continually since 2009. I want to acquire it. I want to go through the process, the legal way of acquiring this. Now you've messed that up. He doesn't like it that you messed up his easement.
I mow MoDOT's right away too in front of my house.
Well, I know, I do too. I mow for the, and if you've ever been up Adams Road, I take her right to the pavement. I keep it just pristine like I do my own yard. And I hope everybody does that.
Okay.
But I'm here just to talk about that survey. That survey is accurate. I'll bet the back 40 on it. It's accurate. And the people, you get 12 people up here, they'll say, I signed it. And I signed everything about it. And That's what I'm here for. That's what my portion of it is. Comments, okay?
Norm, would you come up, do you have comments?
I would just like to say, I think it's a waste of time me and you debating. We've established where I'm at, we've established where you're at. Let's not waste any more time with that. The rest of the commission. Have I not clearly established my disagreement with this? Okay, let's move on from that then. I would like to make one more comment. It almost seems pre-planned when you come to my door with a witness. You did not inform me a serious matter is about to occur. You might want to get yourself a witness, and that felt very unfair, okay? Because Mr. Copeland is obvious, and I'm not slamming him. I've been there. I've worked in my life and worked for other people, and as fair as you can, you know, you're a team. That's your team. You're Clay's team, not me, okay? So that was wholly unfair. But just please, if you could, don't tell me any more that I was in agreement with you. It's just not true. If you could do that for me.
I got you. You weren't in disagreement of it. Is that true?
I explained to you I had an emergency going on.
I know, but I'm
wanted
just
you
saying,
out of
that's-
my face
That's fair
immediately.
though, correct? Is that fair?
No, it's not fair.
Okay, but that's
It's
okay.
not
You're
fair
asking
at
me to
all.
agree. That's fine. We're
We're
not
debating, we're
We're not
debating,
gonna
it's not
debate.
debate.
Go ahead.
You didn't give me an
Gotcha.
opportunity to digest it, or anybody else for that
Gotcha.
matter. A fair opportunity, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And sir?
Yes. My name is Jeff Rasnick. I was at the last meeting. You work for the prosecuting attorney's office?
Yes, I do,
You
sir.
may want to review that. I live on Adams Road, and we spoke. The question I would want to ask the county is, did the county own that property? Simple yes or no.
It's an easement.
It's an easement.
Okay.
Yeah, the county easement, yes.
State statute 228.190, ruled by the Supreme Court, state of Missouri, says, abandoned road, the public roads are abandoned when 5 years passes without use by the public. When public roads are abandoned, title to the road's right-of-way generally refers to the adjacent properties from the road's center line. Now, that's not me arguing, that is a state statute.
Abandoned roads.
And what happens when a state statute is violated?
It depends on the statute, sir.
Did you guys abandon, was Rice Road abandoned?
It was not, we show 5 years of maintenance on Rice Road.
But not that section.
Not
Rice
that
Road
section.
wasn't abandoned, it's
Show it
an
on Rice
easement
Road.
though, it's future
No.
use is an
No.
easement.
Over here on, City of Deloge, and this goes on and on, okay? And, you know, if we're not resolved, something's not resolved, we'll push this to the proper authorities, okay? And we really don't wanna do that. But also, Dan Bryant's statement with the developers, when they surveyed the road, well, this will be, and that's a city document, this will be a good place to come in right here, because it's a high-pressure sewer line. That will benefit
Pressure, sewer
high
line?
pressure sewer line.
Pressure sewer line, Dan?
That's what it says.
Did we have this conversation?
No, we didn't,
Okay.
but here it is, and city knows.
Dan, I don't know what a high pressure sewer line is.
It's a pressure line,
Is that
it's
a
a
lift
sewer
station?
line that pumps uphill.
Lift station.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's pressured line, and where Mr. Rasnick, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Well, Mr. Rasnick is talking about was the conversation with Lost Creek on Deloge side, where they can establish their roadway in the city of Deloge.
On Hawthorne?
No, through their property, through their 50 acres.
Well, that's not what the document says.
Well, could you read it to me word for word?
Let's see.
What's the question, Dan?
He doesn't know what was said. He wants, if he's gonna be asking about what he said, he doesn't have it in front of him to look at, so. Is this what you're looking
Okay.
for?
City Administrator Dan Bryant spoke to the board regarding Rice Road.
Okay.
Dan Chapman and Brandon Pembroke, they are present here tonight. Because they have 50 acres of land off of Hawthorne that they will be developing. A high-pressure sewer runs through this property along Rice Road. Through discussion, it makes sense to lay out their main road for their subdivision off of Rice Road following that high-pressure sewer main.
Yeah, that's exactly the content of that conversation, was it crosses their 50 acres. That's the question they had to me on development of streets, and I suggested that they follow that high-pressure sewer line, because nothing else could be developed over it. You might as well run your street across, or your street by it. So, Mr. Rasnick, I'm sorry, that conversation was concerning the development within the 50 acres.
So it's out of context?
Yeah, it's out of context.
I'm
Where's
just
the
reading
pump
the
station
statement.
for this?
Along Rice Road?
I'm sorry, there's too many
Okay.
conversations.
Where is the pump station for your pressure line?
That I don't know.
Not
It's-
in the field?
No.
Okay, so you'd have to drain through that pump station to get it into the line? That's true?
Yeah, I mean, that'd be a
Yeah.
Park Hill sewer question.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, if the county's saying they maintain that road, and the county owned that road, is that correct?
I don't.
The county has
We
maintained.
haven't maintained it, the ownership is an easement.
Yes.
We have to be careful with the word ownership.
Why does the Missouri Department of Transportation's website, now this is a state website, not list any of those roads as a county road in the state of Missouri? When you can go on and look at that website, you can see streets in Worthing, Missouri, Leadington, Iron Mountain Lake, all those little streets, all have names, are all on the county's website. Adams Road, Waters Road, Rice Road, none of those are on there. Terragalack, county road going into Terragalack, stops to Terragalack entrance, all those roads are not listed in there.
They're all listed on the CART list. Some are private, some are maintained by St. Francis County.
So, there's a lot of stuff here that don't add up.
Well, go ahead.
No, I didn't know if it's so damn, I don't know.
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I have a question. John, you may be able to answer. I know, is there scheduled improvements on Rice Road in your plans?
Not in the near future, not in the next 2 years for sure.
Okay.
Now, should these trucks, the increased traffic, tear the road up, then yes, we'll have to come in and improve the road. And we're ready for that situation. But it's no different than any other county road.
Yeah.
If log trucks wanna go in and log a section of timber on a county road, we can't deny them that, they're gonna use it. We just say that all the trucks need to abide by MoDOT weight limit rules, and that's what we go by. I don't remember who said something about Rice Road not having the distinction of a county road, but it is. And we allow access to all county roads, whether it's one person or 50. And that's what we're doing. Yes, sir.
That website that he refers to, is it legitimate in your opinion? I mean, it kind of sounds like it's up to date, and that if a road is considered county, it should appear there. You can help me out, information about that?
I'll get you the link, but it is on our CART list, and we do receive state funding for.
What does
Rice
CART
Road.
list mean? I don't
It's
know.
just a list that we get funding for all the county roads.
It's where the
Yep.
tax is paid for county.
Yes.
Okay, well, who inputs on that website, this road's county, that road's
MoDOT.
private? That'd be interesting.
And we work in conjunction with MoDOT on that.
MoDOT is the one that does that.
Mhm.
Wow, that's a pretty big organization, isn't it?
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, sir.
So I'm picking up on that.
I have a comment. I'd like the county commission to rescind what you have put in order about Rice Road.
The road's already in, I drove it this morning.
Has nothing to do with the easement. The easement is just you put gravel on top of an easement that was pristine. But my statement is, on October 5th, at your meeting, this all started off by you making a comment, Mr. Gallagher, about abandoning a road. And the intention of it is to let the people know for 90 days, let it set a term of the commission, and that's what we need to do, let the people. And I don't want anybody saying, well, but we rescinded it. Everybody voted on that motion. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? And all ayes, and it was established. It's on the YouTube. Nobody said anything about it. If he was doing wrong, what was going on, why didn't somebody speak up? And nobody spoke up. The road and bridge said nothing.
Did at the end of the meeting, yes, sir.
I said nobody said anything at the first motion shouldn't have carried if you would have tried to say, hey, this is wrong. But later on in the meeting, and here's the thing I don't understand, David Cater has said several times, well, I had nothing to do with this. This was Patrick's. David Cater sat right back here where I'm sitting. That's why I'm sitting here. It's on YouTube. He sat there. He had several comments to make. He even, when John Gross brought this up, well, can we take back or talk again about Rice Road? Well, I'm glad I was going to ask that question. Now, that's what you said. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
I'm still going on. Let me go on. And not only that, why, I don't understand, Mr. Rasnick was reading from Deloge City Minutes. That night, Deloge had a meeting. And in that meeting, right here from the minutes, City Administrator Dan Bryan spoke to the board regarding Rice Road. Dan Chapman and Brandon Penberthy are present here tonight because they have 50 acres of land. And it goes on, Mr. Chapman, Mr. Penberthy, and Mr. Bryan, they went and they talked to St. Francis County Commission this morning. You're mayor of Deloge. And is it not even corrected whenever the minutes come out? Why didn't you say, well, I was there too? You didn't, because I'll tell you why. The election hadn't occurred yet.
Steve, I got nothing to hide. Steve,
It's hidden on this thing. You were not
Hold on a
present.
second. I'm gonna answer that. Steve, what I said in the meeting was exactly what John said, that they didn't have to abandon the road. That's exactly what happened. The context you blow this out in is a lot different than what happened. What I said is, and what I meant, is that it doesn't need abandonment, because if we give anybody permission in the county, in the city, or wherever to do something to a road, we don't need to abandon it. It's not being abandoned.
My question isn't that.
That's what it was.
I said, why wasn't that addressed at first? My question is,
That was addressed.
why aren't you in the city minutes of Deloge as being in attendance at the St. Francis County Commission? Why didn't it occur?
Steve, I have no idea. We had enough there. We had Dan, which was there.
Or why wasn't the minutes corrected?
The minutes didn't have to say I was there or not. It doesn't.
Okay, we've had enough.
Yeah.
Okay,
I have one question.
yes.
Is there anybody from Rice Road represented here?
One.
You're the only one, Mr. Stiegel?
Yes, everybody, there's at work, we got an elderly couple, and it's sad, they think people that have been dead 10 years are up the road. That's one couple that he said was in agreement. There's other people, one neighbor, they're nice folks, but he has trouble checking his emotions. We don't need that. It's not gonna get nowhere. So, and there's not a lot of residents.
But
on
they
the
were
road.
gone. All they had was
Right.
those people.
Yeah, they were gone.
So I'm done with this. If you're, wherever you're at with this.
Well, the question is, are we willing to rescind that? Personally, I'm not. I'll entertain it for a motion if anybody wants to make a motion that we rescind it.
Can you vote on something that wasn't on the agenda?
I'm sorry?
Can you take a vote on something that's not on the agenda?
That's a good point. We can't act on it now, it's true, that's true. It has to be an agenda item to act on.
Well, what about the meeting that was supposed to, what about the meeting that was supposed to occur and media had this?
Okay, you're talking about from last week?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, as soon as I saw the minutes, I saw that we didn't have anything to do with it. I checked the minutes and the county's out of it.
Did the county own that property?
It's an easement, I keep saying easement. Dan, or, John?
I went down to the recorder's office and, found all the information we could.
I've got it also.
That's what I showed.
But I thought they said the county would continue to own it, own the,
We are.
No, go ahead.
The county is still gonna have that road. It's gonna be built to the specs of the city of Deloche.
right.
By the contractor. Not by Deloche,
It's-
and not by the county.
But he,
It's-
Mr. Gall, I'm sorry, says it's an easement, not ownership. I'm a little confused there, but you
So,
say ownership.
county roads are completely different from anything you're gonna see in the city or MoDOT. MoDOT owns a right of way. they own a 60-foot right of way, and they do with whatever they wanna do. They can limit site distance.
But I don't see MoDOT here.
Where it's the same as the county.
I'm just kinda giving you examples. The city, they own the easement, they can do with whatever they want. We have a right to maintain that easement and use it as we need, and we have a right to maintain from ditch to ditch,
I
per
don't
state
understand,
statute.
you just said the county owned it, and now you just said the city owned
The
it.
county only personally owns old MoDOT right-of-ways, but we have a right to use and maintain all of the easements. It's completely different for county roads than it is for city or MoDOT.
Well, the road stopped, and then grass is on the easement.
Yes.
Yes.
So, and it was maintained by an individual.
You maintain your easement too, though.
We could widen the road anytime.
But
we need
after
to.
so many years that I've maintained, that's a different ballgame. Well,
It's still easement.
that's a court, I guess, to decide. But my question is transparency. This happened on KFMO.com, and a meeting to discuss the proposal to extend Rice Road in Deloge could be held soon between all those who hold an interest. Presiding Commissioner of St. Francis County, Harold Gallagher, says a few residents of the Rice Road area voiced their opposition to the project at Tuesday's meeting, and Gallagher adds that they've decided to hold a special meeting to try and reach a mutual agreement. So, if this wasn't going to happen, why didn't you let the media know?
That interview happened immediately after the meeting, and then I went in and I pulled out these minutes, and that's when I learned that we didn't have any.
But I called you twice and talked to you twice.
We talked once, yeah.
We talked twice.
We talked twice?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Just to the-
even in between there, David Cater was involved too, called me wanting to know if he could do something. I said no.
Okay.
And the thing about it is, why not transparency? Why did KFMO retract this and say, well, no, there's not going to be a meeting?
I can't tell KFMO what
I
to do.
think-
I can't tell them.
Okay, Joy?
I think what it all boils down to is if you would have had to go along with the abandonment and post it and let the people know, all of this could have been avoided. It wouldn't have happened. I'm gonna tell you, it wouldn't have happened.
That's hindsight.
And
But we.
Mr. Gross and Mr. Whatever, Cater, both at the end of the meeting said, oh, no, we don't even have to do that. And I think it's because they didn't want the public to know what was going on. They
We
didn't
don't
want-
have to abandon the road. If we would have abandoned the road, we would have given maintenance back to you guys, and Road and Bridge would have never been on it again. And all of the maintenance of Rice or Adams Road would have been up to you guys, as an HOA.
Well, let me tell you another thing about people saying on Rice Road.
Steve, just a second.
Okay.
Kristen, you got it.
That's what I was just gonna comment, I was like, I think, or, I might be a misunderstanding, I don't think there was ever an abandonment.
There was not.
No, because right at the end of the meeting,
That's what I
they
was getting
rescinded
confused
it.
with, is what I'm saying.
There was, and then at the end of the meeting, those two people right there said, let's revisit that, and we don't have to have an abandonment, and he talked him into rescinding
That's
it.
what my confusion was.
But
Well, and that all starts.
So in essence, they did abandon it, they just reversed it
Yes.
quickly.
Yes.
It was never gonna be an abandonment. It was a misunderstanding, and I think when Dan was at the
Well,
meeting, I was at the
I
meeting.
understand that
Health
because
amendments
when,
clearly state that there
Clay
was
was
an
up there at
abandonment, then they
the
tried
board
to
pointing
reverse
things,
and do
he used the
something
term
else.
annex, he used the term
I don't
annex,
remember.
and then, Mr. Gallagher said abandonment, and then you had to all start all
Yes.
over again.
Right, so that's where the confusion.
Well,
I'm sorry. it
There
is
is,
that-
no-
but-
there wouldn't have been a confusion if you had abandoned it and
Yeah.
posted it, but I don't think some people wanted to post it.
Well, like I say, if we
gotcha.
would have abandoned the road, then all of the maintenance would have went back to the homeowners.
Well, I think they probably.
And
would have been
actually, if we abandoned
We
the
have
road,
taken
we
that
would
back.
have all the maintenance on,
Well, I'm not going to agree for you.
yeah.
To you because here's my comment. Everybody on Rice Road chipped in for the asphalt on that road. They would now like their road back. And every one of them's for it. Because they said what's going on is that you blade it, but nothing else is done on that road because everybody takes so care of it. Tom Bullock, he cuts that whole area there. And again, look on, I've got
Okay,
aerial
we've
views.
covered all this.
But here's my last comment. You're gonna do this whenever you say log trucks can come through our area?
Yes,
You-
sir.
Now, everybody in here, Mr.
But
Mr. Engler, let me ask you this. How would you like it for the county where you live, and I know where you live, I've been there, to cut a road and go right in front of your house and bring log trucks?
You know what, before I bought, I have to respond, before I bought the property, I found out what easements were there and what could be done. I actually know that number 15 behind me, since nobody seems to want planning and zoning in the county, I can't do anything if they turn the driving range into a pig farm. So I knew what so I'm not disagreeing, I knew what the county people, because I had to go several times. They're gonna put up a tower next time, I can't help it. We have no planning and zoning. But they're going to put a confined feeding operation. Can't help it. You live in a county that has no zoning, so I would have been up a creek.
But
So I did check that out before, because I lived in the city, and I said, you know what, if they ever do anything behind me on number 15, if the club doesn't make it, I'm up a creek. If they do anything at Perryville Road, I'm up a creek. And the county doesn't even have to freaking come talk to me. That's some of the things I have
But
against, but that's just something personal. I understand that's the thing I accept when I move to the county. I don't have the same.
But the benefit of
that
this,
log truck is not allowed on that street that's actually going through the.
the
is that
whole
right,
thing
Dan?
is,
It cannot be on that street that's in that subdivision.
the whole thing Lost Creek has, they can go right on the Hawthorne. They don't have to come and use that. They don't have to come up and use our road.
That's all we're asking.
That's what the whole thing is, and about transparency.
Yes.
And you know, Mr. Engler, I remember about the racetrack controversy about, you didn't like that. I know I
Okay,
did.
hold on.
I've taken minutes, and I heard the last comment. You said
Yeah.
that was my last comment.
But I'm saying
For the fourth time,
Okay.
let's,
Okay, but I'm
if you wanna
saying,
get something personal,
you,
we will start talking, but
Okay.
that's okay. I'm staying out of this. This has nothing to
Like,
do
'cause
with it.
that has something to do with the.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's pull this down. Basically, the county's out of the business of Rice Road, except for maintenance of it, right?
Yep.
That's it. We've already tendered agreement to the city of Deloge for that road, and the gravel's been put down, the work's been started. And that was back in October, right? October.
So the next move we need to make is have an attorney
You're welcome to do
We're
that.
out.
and a direct
As long as
to the
we've
city
done
of
it,
Deloche.
we're out of it.
You're
So,
Yeah.
welcome to
I
do
got
that.
you.
yes.
That's fine.
We hope it doesn't go to that.
Yeah.
We're welcome.
Well,
Yes, Mark?
it shouldn't go to that. I mean, it's
Okay.
simple.
Mark?
Please. County maintains Rice Road.
Yes,
Will they also maintain that new section?
yes, to the city limits of Deloche.
But that new section's what, 137?
137.
And then who's gonna oversee the maintenance, or in the construction of that?
City of Deloge's.
Yeah. We said that about Jason. That's why we took Jason with us.
Norm?
I like that word transparency. Could I ask you, what is the true motivator here? Is it the water access? Is it the Deloge being spurned several times, which you mentioned at my door when we first met? Hang on.
I just want your clarification on that word. What did you say? This,
What is the true motivation for accessing and using Rice? What's the true motivation?
okay.
Is it, I can't help but stick in my craw that you referenced that Deloge has annexed Rice Road, right? That seems like, boy,
That's untrue.
that's, well, am I not understanding? Dan?
No, the city of Deloche has not annexed Rice Road. That's not accurate.
So that's not about to become Deloge,
No.
am I correct?
The fence line, that fence line is
Yes.
Deloche.
Okay, got
It's
it.
confusing.
Well, what is the
What's the
motivation?
annex?
Is it the water access? What is it?
It's the second entrance, Norm, to that subdivision. There's gonna be one on Hawthorne, and the second entrance is Rice Road. That's what's proposed from the contractor.
Okay, I understand that, but that's not in law that communities have two entrances. It's not. Number two, Hawthorne is much, way larger than Little Bitty Rice Road. There's no problem having ingress and egress over there, as many as you want.
What if the
Sure.
citizens on Hawthorne,
Do what?
what if the citizens on Hawthorne come to the commission or the city and say, let's not do it there either? Then are you gonna shut down the whole subdivision?
I grew up in Bonneton, Missouri, okay? You better believe when I was a young man, I had some girlfriends over in Deloge. I grew up out on the west side, right? I didn't need to come down 67. I traveled Hawthorne for 50 years. It's always been a busy thoroughfare. 50 years ago when I was a kid. They won't notice. You do that to Rice Road, oh, we gonna notice. Fair, guys? Fair.
I got you.
I appreciate you, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Norm.
Okay, basically, those are comments, we thank you for your comments. Any other public comments? Any departmental reports?
I'll make a motion to adjourn. Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
You're saying, you didn't know what to say.
Hey, Norm. Norm,